Imagine rowing a massive longship through stormy seas, carrying a heavy axe and charging into unknown lands for days with little rest. This was the life of a Viking, a warrior, explorer, and survivor. But what fueled this unmatched strength and endurance? Vikings didn't have energy drinks, protein powders, or power bars. They had nature, raw, untamed, and full of life. Their food wasn't just fuel, it was a weapon. It helped them endure freezing temperatures, battle fatigue, and build muscle without ever stepping into a gym. Today, modern nutritionists are uncovering the science behind Viking eating habits. And guess what? Some of their foods are shockingly effective for building strength, boosting stamina, and keeping your mind razor sharp. If you've ever wanted to eat like a real warrior, this is where it begins. Let's explore the Viking foods on the go. Vikings were seafarers, and the ocean gave them one of their greatest sources of power: dried cod and herring. These salted, sun-dried fillets were lightweight, long-lasting, and packed with clean protein, perfect for long voyages. Just a few bites provided essential amino acids for muscle repair, omega-3 fatty acids for brain clarity, and salt for electrolyte balance. Unlike modern jerky, this fish required no preservatives. It was pure, potent, and portable. Modern science confirms it. Fish protein digests easily, reduces inflammation, and keeps energy levels stable. If you're hitting the gym or hiking through mountains, dried fish is still a warrior's choice. Before protein shakes, there was Skyr, a thick, high-protein dairy product that originated in Scandinavia over 1,000 years ago. Vikings carried it in clay pots, ate it with berries, and used it as fuel before and after battle. Skyr contains nearly twice the protein of regular yogurt and far less sugar. It's rich in calcium, probiotics, and casein, a slow-digesting protein that feeds muscles for hours. Think of it as ancient Icelandic protein pudding. For warriors constantly on the move, Skyr provided satiety, gut health, and muscle repair. Today, it's a powerhouse for athletes and anyone looking to build strength from real food. While Vikings were strong meat eaters, they knew the value of grains, especially barley and oats. These were their go-to complex carbohydrates, turned into porridge, flatbreads, or travel cakes baked on stones. Oats are rich in beta-glucan, which helps regulate blood sugar and support the immune system. Barley provides B vitamins, iron, and long-lasting energy, without spiking insulin. When soaked overnight or cooked into stews, these grains kept Viking warriors going for hours. Unlike modern refined carbs, they didn't lead to crashes. They built sustainable, enduring energy. Vikings didn't fear carbs. They chose the right ones, and their bodies turned into machines. Vikings didn't waste anything. Every part of the animal was used, especially the most nutritious parts: liver, heart, and kidneys. These organ meats were often smoked or dried, preserving them for long trips. Liver alone contains more vitamin A, iron, and B12 than almost any other food. It's known to boost red blood cell production, oxygen transport, and immune defense, essential for warriors battling cold, hunger, or injury. Smoked meats provided protein and fat in dense forms without spoilage. No need for refrigeration. and the high saturated fat content. For Vikings, it was energy, not a villain. Modern research shows that eating organ meats in moderation supports hormone production, brain function, and stamina. Viking logic, validated by science. Before the fear of cholesterol began, Viking warriors thrived on animal fat. Salted butter, tallow, and even whale blubber were prized. Why? Because fat is the most calorie-dense macronutrient, packing over twice the energy of protein or carbs. When you're rowing across icy seas or hiking rugged mountains, you need fuel that lasts. Animal fats gave Vikings that slow-burning, endurance-boosting power. Salted butter also provided vitamin K2, which supports calcium metabolism and cardiovascular health. It was often spread on flatbreads or melted into soups, a stealthy way to keep joints and muscles primed. For modern endurance athletes or those on keto-style diets, Viking fat wisdom is making a comeback. While Vikings loved their meat, they didn't forget about microbes. Fermented drinks like soured milk and mead were everyday staples. These beverages supported digestion, immunity, and relaxation. Soured milk, similar to kefir, was rich in probiotics and enzymes that kept gut bacteria in balance, a must when diets were high in protein. Mead, while alcoholic, was often diluted and used medicinally. Honey itself is a natural antibacterial agent and provided quick energy. The Viking gut was strong because it was consistently exposed to living foods. And a strong gut means a strong immune system, clear mind, and fast recovery from fatigue. They drank not for pleasure, but for power. Vikings simmered bones over fire for hours, sometimes days, to extract every bit of goodness. The result? Bone broth rich in collagen, gelatin, calcium, and amino acids like glycine and proline. This broth was added to soups, porridge, or drunk straight to fortify the body after battle or illness. Bone broth supported joint repair, gut lining health, and reduced inflammation from physical strain. Collagen helped keep tendons and ligaments strong, crucial for wielding heavy weapons. In modern times, bone broth is hailed for its role in skin health, immunity, and recovery. The Viking wisdom was clear. What's inside the bone is what gives life outside the bone. In Viking territory, forests were full of edible plants. They foraged lingonberries, cloudberries, juniper, stinging nettle, dandelion, and wild garlic. Each a powerhouse of nutrients and antioxidants. Berries provided vitamin C, which protected against scurvy and helped immune defense. Herbs like nettle and dandelion were rich in iron and magnesium, great for blood health and energy production. These weren't supplements. They were part of daily meals, mixed into porridge, dried into cakes, or brewed into teas. Modern research shows these wild foods have antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and anti-fatigue effects. For Vikings, nature was the pharmacy and the battlefield pantry. Vikings needed food they could carry. Long-lasting, compact, and potent. Enter travel cakes, a mix of ground grains, dried fruit, honey, rendered fat, and sometimes dried meat. These cakes were baked or sun-dried until rock solid. They resembled modern energy bars, but without the sugar crashes or artificial fillers. One cake could sustain a man for hours during raids or sea journeys. It combined protein, complex carbs, fat, and fiber, all in one handheld form. And yes, it tasted rough, but it worked. If you're heading into the wild or just need a natural pre-workout snack, Viking travel cakes might be your new secret weapon. Vikings often used rye flour, a hardy grain that grows well in cold climates, to make sourdough flatbreads. These weren't your soft sandwich slices. They were dense, chewy, and fermented with natural wild yeast. This fermentation process broke down gluten, improved digestibility, and introduced beneficial bacteria into the gut, supporting long-term immunity and energy balance. Unlike today's ultra-processed bread, Viking sourdough was a living food. It kept blood sugar stable, provided slow-releasing carbs, and paired perfectly with fat, meat, or berries. Even on the move, a single slice of sourdough rye was enough to boost a warrior's stamina and strengthen his gut from the inside out. The Vikings weren't just fearsome because of their weapons or ships. They were powerful because of how they lived and how they ate. They chose real foods. Dried fish for protein, fermented dairy for gut health, wild berries for antioxidants, and organ meats for unmatched nutrient density. They cooked simply, preserved wisely, and honored nature's gifts. Today, we're learning that their ancient wisdom aligns with the best of modern nutrition science. These were the original superfoods, dense in calories, rich in micronutrients, and optimized for survival and performance. So the next time you reach for a snack or prep a meal, ask yourself, is this something a Viking would eat? If you want to build endurance, protect your health, and awaken your inner warrior, ditch the processed foods. Return to roots, bones, fermentation, and fire. Viking food wasn't just about survival. It was about becoming unstoppable.